Hey everyone, my name's Dave McLauchlan. I am the CEO of Everysight, and welcome to our second live Q&A for our Kickstarter project we're doing for the Maverick AI and AI Pro glasses. As you are all, I'm sure, very well aware, we've got our Kickstarter program wrapping up, or campaign wrapping up very, very soon. And so we wanted to take the opportunity to have another chat, answer some more questions. We're trying to do a lot of Q&A, by the way, both in the comments of the Kickstarter as well as in our Discord. If you haven't seen the Discord link and you haven't been on our Discord, we do encourage you to join. There's a lot of conversation going on there, which is great. We're delighted to see that. Unfortunately, in the Kickstarter comments, you can't post links. So I see a lot of people posting, hey, where's the Discord? We can't post links. They don't let you do that. So have a look at the campaign. If you scroll down, you'll find the link to the Discord, and you can join the conversation there. In any event, fabulous to have you all here. Thanks for taking the time. I wanted to go through some of the Q&A that has been going on both in the Discord and in the Kickstarter comments. I want to address the display resolution and field of view update that we had just yesterday. But first of all, just a quick reflection. I'm actually in Frankfurt, Germany right now. Yesterday I was in London, and I had the chance to meet face-to-face some of the Kickstarter backers out of the UK, out of London. We had, I think it was close to 2.5 hours. It was a really, really good session. And we had a chance to try the glasses on. I said to the folks that I met, please share your candid feedback. Please give me, all your comments. This was actually before we had posted, before I had a chance to type up and post the announcement about the change of resolution and field of view. So I told the guys about that and said, look, here's what's going to be announced in the next few minutes, or at least after the face-to-face. We had a great session, got a lot of great feedback, and so if you want to see that feedback, I don't want to put words into their mouth or regurgitate what they said for fear of getting it not exactly right. Go check out the Discord. There's some great comments there and great feedback from that event. So where possible, even after the Kickstarter, I'd like to do more of those. I think getting a chance for people to try the glasses on, have the experience, see what is the product that we're dealing with every single day, see what's coming, I think is healthy and valuable. Even if it's feedback we can't immediately action, I definitely would like to make sure that we get the ability for folks to try them on and have a chance to experience it. So as the team and I travel around, unfortunately the kind of travel we do, we don't generally have a lot of heads up. I didn't know, for example, I was in London until only a few days before. So where possible, we'll give that heads up. But if you do have the ability to go onto the Discord and let us know where you are from, when we're traveling to those locations, we'll put a word out and say, hey, chance of a meetup, would you like to try the glasses? I think it's a useful thing to do. All right, so let's get straight into probably the number one topic here, which is the update we gave yesterday on the resolution of the display, the optical engine in the display, and the field of view and so forth. Let's talk about what we're actually talking about here. This here is the optical engine that we use in the glasses. And if you look at the very end, the part that's shiny there, the very end of this orange cable, this is a connector cable, that bit that's shining, that's the display, right? Tiny little thing right here. That's the display, and then this is the optical engine that we use. Ultimately, the image is passing through all these components and then is projected out through this lens here and reflected off the glasses lens into the eye. So this is very much the technology that's at the core of how we do our display. The piece that's at the core of the conversation from yesterday is this guy here, this part here. This is a Sony OLED. It's a Sony micro OLED actually, and it's the part that we've been using in our prototypes, but it's also the part that we have used in our prior generation, our Maverick Sport. And in terms of what you see, in terms of the image and so forth, there's really two components. There's the optical engine, which is the source image, the Sony OLED, and the optics, the physical lenses and prisms and mirrors that the image goes through. But then there's the technology driving the display as well. So the graphics engine, effectively, the compute system that is driving what the display shows. In the intended path we had for Mavericks AI and Maverick AI Pro, we intended to upgrade the optical display, the source of the display, the OLED, to a higher resolution, which would also enable a wider field of view. The plan was to do a 720p, and we had a couple of different options we were looking at and testing and so forth, but that was the intent, and that was very much the plan. Over the course of time, the certainty on that started to become less certain, and it got to a point where this week we've decided that we can't guarantee the certainty of the supply of that part, not just for a small delay, but a substantial delay, a really meaningful delay. And so we made the decision that given we already had the upgraded graphics package in the AI and AI Pro, that's already a lock, that's already in, that using the existing Sony OLED that we have today, where we've got good sensor supply, we tested the product very well, it's had phenomenal success in market, it's performed very, very well, it's a high quality part. We decided that we would stick with that and keep the product on schedule and keep it moving. Now, the whole goal here, of course, is that we want to make sure we are very much on track and very much on target with our timing. We also want to make sure that we are delivering as promised, and we want to make sure that we are giving a great experience to our customers. It is my view, both personally and as the CEO of the business, that the experience customers will have will be very, very substantial. It is a very, very, very good experience. I think that the display quality in terms of the color, the brightness, the image, nothing's changing with that. Now, this will be about 25% smaller field of view in terms of the size of the display. But again, for a head-up display type product, this is not a movie watching device, this is not a gaming watching device. This is, I think, a very, very healthy experience. I think you'll have a great experience. But at the end of the day, we are a customer-oriented organization. So two things I think are true at the same time. Number one, we wanted to make sure we were transparent about this before the end of the campaign and give folks a chance to vote with their wallets. If this is a breaking change for you that you feel you are not comfortable with, then it is totally reasonable that you would reconsider your pledge. We absolutely understand that. But I think from the experience of us and the folks that have used the glasses, every influencer that's used them, every media person that's used them, and even the folks last night here, back in London, that have used them and had a great experience, I think you'll find the display is rich, it is vivid, it is plenty big, and it is clear and a fabulous experience. So that's the view we've taken, that's the decision we've taken. Now, having said that, obviously, we want to make sure that people have a great experience. If you buy the glasses, Kickstarter, retail, wherever, and you don't have a great experience, of course you can return them. We're not going to ask you to pay for a product, even a heavily discounted product as on Kickstarter, and be unsatisfied or dissatisfied and have a bad experience. So my offer, of course, to you is, as a customer-centric organization, if you are unhappy with the product, send it back. That's our promise. I feel very, very confident that you'll have a great experience. I think you'll find that the display is everything that you would have thought it would have been. And I made a comment in the Discord earlier today that said, if you weren't aware of the resolution and you were asked based on looking at the glasses and seeing the display, you would probably guess that the resolution was much higher than it actually is on the specs. So that's the nature of the experience. So in any way, I don't want to dwell on this too much. I'm very happy to take further questions, of course, as they come in here. But I do want to be really clear that if you don't or are unhappy with the product, you're very welcome to return it. I feel very confident that you'll be happy though. So that's where we are on the field of view on the display. I would say that the other really big question we've been getting is on the AI camera resolution. And this is a whole different question because people are really hung up on trying to figure out what that resolution is and so forth. Totally fair question. Let me tell you what's going on here. We are actually still in the process of finalizing our hardware lockdown. We actually don't lock down hardware for a little time yet to come. And so what that means is that we are still evaluating different options on the camera. We have different brands, we have different models and resolutions and all that sort of thing. So one of the reasons why we haven't come out with definitive stats is because we don't have those definitive stats yet on the camera. But also, this is not a camera where the stats themselves tell the story. We've made it very clear, I think we've been very transparent from the get-go, that the purpose of this camera is not for Instagram photos or taking video. And if that's what you're looking for in a camera, this is not the glasses for you. This is not the product for you. If you are looking for something with high resolution photography capabilities, there's lots of options out there, and there's many, many good ones. So we would refer you to one of those. What we are doing with the camera, and we really refer to it as an AI sensor, is we are optimizing it for the AI scenarios that you might otherwise see or require a camera for. Things like reading menus, things like reading signs, things like doing translations, things like, help me with a wine list selection from this menu selection, for example. Day-to-day use of AI and understanding my surroundings. Now, this is a very different set of use cases than, take a photo of this landscape or take a photo of this cityscape. The way the lenses work, the way the camera is optimized, completely different. The other thing we're optimizing for, of course, and we've been very clear on this too, is battery life. We believe that one of the big differentiators of our product is that you won't have to charge the device multiple times per day. You can wear it all day wear style, and the weight and characteristics of the glasses are very much supportive of that structure, right, of that concept. So we are also optimizing the camera for power consumption. The higher the megapixels, the greater the power consumption, right? So what we're trying to do is find the right balance between effective AI camera and minimal power consumption, while we're being very transparent that this is not a camera that you're going to even want to use for professional photography or social photography or anything else like that, right? Your phone has a great camera on it. We expect most people to use that. And by the way, as a side note, we did a lot of market research on this and found that overwhelmingly people who buy the camera glasses take photos and use the camera for the first few days, and then largely that feature sort of falls by the wayside. That's a very common scenario. Even last night I heard that from a number of the guys. Yep, got the camera glasses, don't really take photos that much beyond the first few days. So anyway, that's the optimization we're making around the AI camera. We will share more details in due course once things are locked down. We've got some more color there, but right now we're working through that, and we'll come back once some decisions have been made. But again, the optimization here is around the experience of the AI sensing and the sensor, not around megapixels in a photo or anything like that. So that's those probably the top two questions I think that we've had. Again, happy to engage in discussion on the Discord and other channels, but I think that hopefully gives some color for folks that were asking. I'm just looking here, I've got the questions coming up on my screen. So there's a question here about ordering the lenses, and great question here. The way this is going to work is once the campaign ends, we'll be sending out a follow-up survey where you'll be able to nominate your choices. You'll be able to buy additional lenses. If you want to buy more lenses, you can do that. But you'll be able to nominate your choices at that point in the future after the campaign has ended. So for those that have been asking and are concerned they've missed the ability to do that, that's not the case. That will happen in due course. Now, you will, of course, be able to combine. So, for example, it is possible to have transitions with prescription. And so we'll have that capability. So it's not just one of each kind. You can do some combining there. But this will all be made very, very clear in the post-campaign survey. One thing we are still working through, and I saw a post, I think Jeff posted on the Kickstarter, we had a lot of questions around progressives, which is a huge, huge request. I wear progressives myself. We can do it. We know that we can do it. We're just working through the hows and the costs and all that sort of thing and the timings. And so because we don't quite know the timing yet and we don't quite know the cost, we don't want to put a fake or false number out there, or we don't want to mislead folks. So we're still working through this. I think at this point it's probably unlikely that we'll have those locked down by the end of the campaign. So that's a consideration for you if you are relying upon progressive lenses. We can do it. We just don't know yet what the cost or timing will be exactly. Obviously, we'll try and get this to market as fast as possible. But again, we probably won't know that by the end of the campaign. So just so you're aware. One of the questions here was, will all Kickstarter orders receive transition lenses? So all Kickstarter orders are eligible for the transition lenses. We made the offer to folks, I guess it was a week or so ago, that if they made their pledge by Sunday at midnight, then they would get it for free. Otherwise, it would be a nominal charge. And the reason is, of course, this does cost us. This is not a free thing for us to offer. We're happy to absorb that cost for folks that up until that point. And I think we gave people 3 days or so for them to additionally make pledges or tell friends and so on. But after that point, they would have a nominal charge. I think it was $29 thereabouts. And so that is the case. But anyone can order transition lenses. And another question I had last night was, can I order more than one, or can I order multiple sets if I want to have multiple sets? Absolutely, no problem at all. So lots of options there. Again, this will all be made very clear in the post-campaign survey. Question, and by the way, there's been a lot of developer questions as well, which have been fantastic. The guys just posted the SDK and the simulator a couple of days ago. I know that's driven a lot of chatter and conversation. If you are a developer or would like to be and haven't seen that yet, definitely go to the Discord and you'll be able to download, you'll see the links, you'll be able to download the SDK, the simulator, and then see all the documentation on how to build apps and how to further and better understand the product. So, as part of all of that, we've had questions around the app and the capabilities. We have stressed that as part of the SDK, it's an alpha. Like, it's a very, very early release. We're still quite some time from finalizing this. So we do advise that anything and everything could change in the SDK. That being said, we want to make sure it's available as early as possible and get all the feedback we can. But things that are available in there may be some changes to APIs and so on. So just be aware of that. Now, to that end, a question we had was, could an app theoretically record with the camera? Part of our reason for the focus of the AI sensor, the camera, being very much that and not a camera, is, we're very concerned that there's going to be just a social and privacy elevation of concern about the use of cameras in glasses. There was a BBC piece just published today that said that raised this concern and said, there are more smart glasses with cameras than ever before, and people are recording you when you don't even realize it. It's becoming a thing. I think certainly here in Europe, it's going to be more of a thing faster, but I think worldwide, we're going to see this being an issue. We want to be on the right side of history, and we want to make sure that we are enabling the AI functionality as best we can without limiting the camera functionality more than we have to. Right? There's a balance there we have to achieve. So what we've decided to do is make it an AI sensor first and foremost. What that means for developers, though, and how we sort of protect that integrity on the developer side, candidly, we haven't fully locked that down or figured that out yet. So as it stands today, there is camera access in the SDK. That means that there's availability for the developer to provide the images from the camera to their respective AI engines, for example. So I think that functionality is there. Like I said, things can change. We're looking at the way to manage this carefully. This is not going to be a camera that you're going to want to use for high fidelity, photography, and certainly not for video, right? So again, it's optimized for AI and for fairly near-term AI or near-range AI scenarios. So just as an FYI, be very aware of that. That's the design goal. I think we've been very, very clear about it, and how we execute that in the SDK. In its final form remains to be seen, but just be aware of that. So, FYI. Can I photograph a product and get more info as like the marketing information and so forth? Okay, so this is an implementation question, and the answer is yes. The answer is, could someone build an app that takes a photo of a product or a barcode, perhaps the code on the back of a lot of products, and then get more information on that product? Absolutely. Now, is this a piece of functionality that we will enable on day one in the Everysight app? Maybe not. That's not something I've seen that is on the roadmap from the guys. But it certainly is something that is very achievable, and any app developer could go ahead and build that. Now, having said that, we are evolving our own AI experience every day. For example, you can ask for currency exchange rates. And rather than just getting a number, you'll get an actual card with the flags of the currencies and the exchange rate in live, all that sort of thing. So there's things we're doing to enhance certain popular queries. The weather, for example. What's the weather today in Frankfurt? You'll get cards that pop up. You'll get the 5-day forecast. You'll get the today forecast. You'll be able to swipe through various cards either with the touchpad on the side or with your eye tracking. We demonstrated that last night for the guys in London. So things like that, we're enhancing the experience so that that's very much a glasses first experience. But of course, we won't be able to do that for everything. And in some cases, there'll be scenarios where you'll want to have dedicated experiences, dedicated apps, or if it's a smaller piece of functionality, maybe it'll be a glasslet or something of that nature. So in any event, is it possible? 100%. It sounds like a great app to build, and we'd love to see that being built. A really interesting perspective. I think the future of this category will depend on one thing. Does it become genuinely useful in everyday moments without adding friction? Boy, this is a great point. If you look at a lot of what's out there today in terms of both AI glasses, a lot of the stuff coming out of China, has AI glasses. They've got cameras. They can do, queries. There's a display of some sort, usually a waveguide, usually green. In their case, they often have the text. It's very visible. It's a very, confronting thing to see someone with, the green leakage cameras, lights on for the cameras. Lots of those products out there. Even, like the Meta Ray-Ban displays, they have support for Instagram and browsing Instagram photos and, your WhatsApp messages and so on. We are very, very focused on real-world scenarios. We're very, very focused on things like, in the case of Mav Sport, running apps that integrate with Strava, because everybody uses Strava. Running apps or cycling apps that integrate with Garmin products, because a lot of people have Garmin products, and that's a real-world use case. In the case of translation, having 5 languages isn't so useful. Let's have all the languages, which we do have. In the case of golf, for example, we have a golfing app which isn't just a novelty. It can literally replace a rangefinder, which, of course, a lot of golfers have. So there's a lot of focus that we're putting on real-world scenarios, things that you would do on a day-to-day basis. We think that's really, really important, and that's fundamental to the use of the glasses, because at the end of the day, if it's going to be something that you wear all day or much of the day, it needs to be something that you would use in real life. I think the amount of time the average person is going to spend browsing their Instagram in their glasses is probably minimal, but the amount of time that you would spend either looking at your messages or notifications or checking your calendar or answering a phone call or whatever it may be, that's real world usage. That's what's going to drive the glasses from being a niche, tech product to a mainstream mass market product. So that's where we're investing time. By the way, just as a complete side note, when we talk to the glasses vendors, the feedback we get is smaller field of view. Give us a more narrow display. Give us a lighter weight product. Put smaller batteries in. Make the glasses fit more inside a fashion glasses form factor. And give us just crucial, vital information, head-up display information, but don't expand the field of view. Don't make it larger. Don't make the power consumption hungrier. And so it's interesting, right? You get this sort of contrast of the X-Reels with the video and the gaming and the monitor replacements and the screen replacements and so forth. Totally valid scenarios. Obviously not what we're doing, but rock on for those guys. And then you get the glasses companies who are like, hey, fashion matters. People want to have something that looks good on the face. And we think that we can do this with a minimal screen with just crucial information. It's a great data point from folks that have an informed view. So anyway, side comment, but just to give you a sense, this is something that we think about and build towards every day, is usability and functionality much more than novelty or tech specs. Okay, I have a question here about sailing. I saw a beta with some apps about sailing. What do you think we can, or do you think we can sponsor this type in boats? This actually is a great question. We've actually had some engagement with various sailing organizations on this. We have a user of the Maverick Sport that has built a sailing experience. And I think actually sailing is a great use case here, because not just for the display, but of course, usually when you're sailing, your hands are busy, right? So having the eye tracking to be able to navigate and use the UI without having to use your hands, amazing scenario. So I think if the question here is, hey, can we collaborate on a sailing app? Reach out to us. We'd love to chat. If the question is, will there be sailing apps? I know there's at least one party building something of this nature on the Sport, so I would expect they would do so for the AI or AI Pro. And if you're interested in sailing in general, then the glasses are a great product for that world. All right, is the camera resolution big enough for the AI to read small text, e.g. a page from a book or a programmer screen? Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the optimization here is near field for exactly those sorts of things. I don't have an example here, but last night we had a menu at the bar where I met the folks in London. The menu had very small text, and I asked it to recommend a drink from the ingredients on the list, and no problem, it was able to read it just fine. So, as with all things, by the way, because I should point out, the implementation of the camera is as much about the implementation of the software driving the camera, and then what we do with it, and all the the internal firmware of how we manage imaging and so forth. As you might expect in a hardware project like this, the hardware must come first. With the hardware lock that's coming up, you'll see substantial effort and evolvingness, if you like, of the software platform, and so things will improve there as well. But no, we showed a demo last night for the guys. We literally held up a menu, pretty small text. One of my favorite demos actually is to get a menu in a foreign country such as this. Foreign for me, I don't speak German. Get a German menu and say, recommend me a wine to go with your recommendation of a food dish, and give it to me in English, and then give me the wine in Australian dollars. And so then it goes and reads the menu, translates it, finds the wine that best pairs, goes and looks up the price, and then converts the price to a currency that it wouldn't otherwise be in. That's a fun demo to do. We do that all the time. That works today, no problem. Certifications. Are your FCC or CE certifications fully completed for the exact retail? No, so they're not. Like I said, hardware is in the process. We're very, very final stages of being finalized, but not finalized yet. And so as a result, certifications come down the road. Now there are, and by the way, certifications we can talk about this for an hour. Certifications have, there's all different kinds of certifications for all different regions. Some certifications require different stages of the product being finished. Some certifications you can start fairly early, well before you've got final finished product. Others you have to start a bit later. So there's a whole science, probably a mix of science and art, to how you do certifications. So that's a very complex question. We can get into some more detail on the Discord, but the short answer to the question is no, they're not done, but will be done, of course. That's obviously a requirement. What manufacturing stage are you currently in? I think I've just answered that. We're at the hardware finalization stage. When you send the prescription, so we're bouncing around here. I'm just taking the questions as they're coming in. When you send the prescription survey, will it include the cylinder value for astigmatisms? There has been no answer to this to date. I would expect so. By the way, I'm not an optician. I'm not an eye expert. We have those in the team, but I would expect that's the case. Yeah, I expect that you would upload your prescription as a whole, and then we'll take it from there. So, by the way, if I'm wrong on that, and someone in the team can jump in and correct me, then we'll post a correction to that. What percentage of the software or features shown in demos is already functional today versus still in development? Okay, well, that's a tough one to get an exact percentage. Let's put it this way. All of the scenarios that we're showing, even with fairly advanced app development and so forth, is still in some form of either polish or finalization. But there's a lot we haven't developed yet. There's a lot we are building as we go. So a lot is demonstrable. I think I showed last night we did translations, we did AI queries, we looked out the window to find out where we were. We asked to describe the room we were in. One of my favorite examples is you're a police officer, give me a crime scene level description of the room I'm in. So very, very detailed description of the room you're in. That's a fun demo to give. We did the menu translations of the drinks. We did the eye tracking, swiping back and forth. We did scrolling. There's a demo we have where there's a stock chart. You can call what's the current share price of Tesla, for example. It will pull up the stock chart, and then you can use the eye tracking to scroll back and forth along the chart to see the price at any given day. We did that. We did selecting, so a bunch of gesture type scenarios. There's a lot that's developed. Obviously, we're developing more every day, but I want to be really clear. Software is the kind of thing that we will be developing right up until the last day. I absolutely promise you. And then after we ship, we'll still be developing. We'll be doing updates. We'll be doing releases. We'll be doing new apps. We'll have partners doing apps. Maybe we'll have some partners or third-party folks that have developed apps that we think are good enough we want to promote and elevate. So you should expect that there won't be a time where we will stop developing. That's just the nature of software, but yes. So hard to give a percentage if I'm honest. All of the functionality that we have shown in the Kickstarter, we have working at some level. And much of it we've demonstrated. I think almost all of it we've demonstrated. But again, some of it isn't at final shipping quality yet, and we'll get there. That's known and planned for. One of the questions I had on that topic actually was the eye tracking calibration. And people were gravely concerned that because someone had mentioned that they calibrated the glasses and then took them off and put them on again, the calibration was lost. That was a known thing. That was absolutely part of the deal, if you like, at the time. Of course, we will evolve that and make sure that we have a much better experience come ship time. That's a software problem. We're working on it. Already, it's advanced substantially from that influencer demo that I think that triggered that comment. I think the guys last night, for example, tried it on and had no problem with the calibration or it sticking. But just to give you a sense, like all things software, there's evolution and it will continue to evolve. So stay with us and stay tuned on that one. Will the forward-facing camera be accessible by API? So we've sort of touched on this one already. This is related to the AI sensor camera, subject to the limitations within the API, and subject to the limitations of the camera. Because again, we're optimizing the camera for near-term, near-field, if you like, AI scenarios, not for landscapes and videos and sporting photography and that sort of thing. That's not what the camera's for. So. Are replacement batteries, lenses, or repair services planned to be available after launch? I saw a pair of smart glasses that had replaceable batteries, which would be amazing. So one of the challenges with things like replaceable batteries is that it introduces some pretty robust design constraints on where the batteries can be, how the batteries are connected. It adds weight because you would typically have a heavier or a different sort of connector than you would if it was built in. We are using so on the battery specifically, we optimize for the highest quality we can find. We do a bunch of testing. Fortunately, we've got a whole bunch of glasses, thousands of glasses in market already. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. We know what is the best experience. In the case of the Mavericks, these are not replaceable by the user. We've not had battery problems at all from existing customers that have had them out in the market. And of course, if you did happen to have such a problem, you could return it. But no, these will not be user replaceable. These will be built in and wired in and within the temples. And that's to optimize the design, to optimize the battery life, to optimize the experience. So yeah. Someone says, I joined late, but does it come with a teleprompter included? So short version is yes. Teleprompting is a scenario that we can do quite easily. I've seen a demonstration of it in one of the apps that we've got, so I know that's a piece of functionality that is very feasible. I actually, just for a hobby, I wrote a teleprompter app for Mav Sport just to play around and understand how the dev experience worked. Of all the things to build, it's a pretty simple scenario. And so, yeah, you should consider that to be a sort of a checkbox feature. But by the way, transcription, we have a live transcription feature as well. The live translation works very fast. I did a Chinese to English demonstration last night. Worked very quickly. So yeah, you should expect that sort of functionality will be well supported. Question about progressives. We've covered progressives, so I know you just joined late, whoever that was that asked the question. The answer to that is we will have progressive lenses, but we still don't know the timing or the cost. And so we're advising folks on that basis. If that's a requirement for you and you need to know the cost and the timing, then I don't think we can provide that by the end of the campaign. But we do have confidence we can deliver progressive lenses, subject to getting that data in on both cost and timing. Are the lenses able to be popped out and swapped? Yeah, absolutely. Like that? Sure. So super easy to do. Of course, I've now gone and put fingerprints all over these, but the idea being that you can swap these in and out very, very easily. I happen to have a pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarer glasses, just the regular normal ones. It's the same concept, right? Pop them in, pop them out. And so you could replace these yourself, no problem at all. So yes, no problem with the lenses being popped out and swapped. There's a question here about the AI model. What is the name of the AI model that is native? And will there be options to use our preferred one? So this is a detailed answer to a question here. We are currently using Gemini in all of our demonstrations and in the apps that we are running ourselves. The primary reason, bunch of them, but the primary reason is that Gemini supports conversation mode. And what that means is, and I think some of the guys commented on this in the Discord from last night, is that conversation mode means that you don't have to keep saying, hey Siri or hey ChatGPT. You can just have a natural conversation back and forth with the AI, and that can appear natively in the glasses, and that's a very natural experience. Most of the AI LLMs don't offer that. To do that on a platform that doesn't offer that natively, you would need to do a speech-to-text conversion, send the text to the AI, get the text response from the AI, and then do a text-to-speech conversion. The lag of doing that is not good. It's uncomfortably long and laggy, frankly. And so that's not a great experience. So what that means is, for the optimum experience, in this particular case, Gemini has the best experience with that conversation mode. Now, having said that, all of the AI companies are evolving very, very rapidly. It's no surprise to anybody that there's new features coming out all the time, and we know for a fact, for example, that OpenAI just announced they had a conversation mode support. They released it just the other day. Now, we've tested it. It isn't at the level of where Gemini is, but they'll probably fix it. They'll probably get there. And the other AI engines will probably get there at some point too. However, what it means is, if you want to swap out the AI that we've got in the tool today with your own, it would mean you would lose that functionality. Now, our view is that you should be able to do that. You should be able to choose whatever AI engine you want, subject to that AI engine being, compatible. But we will make sure that we will be compatible with as many as we possibly can. And as long as you have an API key and you can drop the API key in, then away you go. So yes, we are working very hard to make sure you have all the options that you want. I want to caution you that if you have, I call it a $20 a month ChatGPT plan, for example, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can use that with the glasses because of limitations put in place by OpenAI. A lot of people have questions about their context and their context history. They want to carry that over to the glasses. Totally get you. I'm with you. It's 100% what you'd want to do. The AI engines themselves don't typically allow that today. Again, things are changing rapidly. Who knows what happens in the future? If it does change, we'll be the first to support it. You can bet on that. But just be aware that if you want to use your own AI engine, you would have to use an API key. So you would need a developer account and have access to an API key. And you would need to be aware that you probably won't be getting the context from your other conversations in the consumer-facing tool. That's on the AI guys, not us. And then lastly, if you want that conversation mode as one example, one scenario example, it isn't the case today that all of them offer that, and it probably won't be the case that they all do by the time we launch. So, just to let you know, the corollary to this question is, and it wasn't asked, but I'm going to answer it anyway, is there a subscription to use the glasses just by themselves? No. Once you've bought the glasses, you are free and clear to use them in any way you see fit, including the SDK, including writing apps for them. Away you go. Now, will there be some charges or some subscription costs for some apps? Yes. Not only will we have some premium apps where there's additional costs that we'll have to pass on a charge for, but also third parties will write apps and they'll have charges as well. They'll have, I'm going to make this up, but maybe someone will write an ESPN app or a sports app. And in order to get access to real-time sports data, they have to pay some providers some money. They may want to charge a subscription fee. That's entirely up to the developer. They're very welcome to do that. That's not anything for us to have a view on. But just to be aware, if there is an experience, it's either a premium experience or it requires us to pay a cost to get access to the data, then we would have to pass that on as either a cost of the app or a subscription fee. To be quite clear, we're not trying to make a whole bunch of money on the apps. We're not sitting here trying to make enormous margins on subscription fees. And there is absolutely no fee to use the glasses as is, and with all the functionality that we're the basic functionality of the glasses, of course, no charge. But I want people just to be aware that other developers might build apps with charges. And for example, if we have a premium AI experience, obviously we have to pay the AI company for every query. You would expect that that's something we would have to pass on. But it'll be reasonable, it'll be within expectations, and of course entirely optional. You won't have to do it if you don't want to. Next question was head-up display. Will I be able to have the HUD directly in front of me, or will I have to slightly look up? This is a great question because it all depends on the fit. You'll notice that we have, in the case of the glasses here, we've got the adjustable nose pieces, but also the temples, the tails of the temples are adjustable as well. And so what that means is you can adjust your fit this way, and you can adjust your fit this way based on the different settings. Part of the experience you'll have is a sort of setup or configuration experience. We'll make sure that is seamless and easy. But what it does mean is that there's some adjustment that you can make there yourself. You can adjust those temples down, which will then have the effect of bringing the glasses up. In my fit, as I wear the glasses on a day-to-day basis, the image is more or less straight ahead. I noticed in a couple of the influencer videos, they maybe didn't go through that process of having quite the same fit, and they looked like they were looking up to the sky a lot. That's the fit question, and that's an adjustment question. But no, day-to-day, you should be able to have the image, the head-up display, pretty much straight ahead, and that's sort of the normal view. The exception to this is we've built in to the glasses the ability to have effectively different screens by looking up, looking straight ahead, and looking down, right? So you can literally put different information above, have no information when looking straight ahead, and then have information when looking down. The golf app is a great example of this. When you look up, you get your score, the weather, the time, all the information on the hole and the course. When you look straight ahead, there's nothing you see. It's perfectly clear, normal sunglasses or normal glasses. And then when you look down, you get an overhead view of the golf course hole, including bunkers, the green, wind direction, that sort of thing. So that's an example where we thought having nothing on the display is the preference for most of the time. Now, as you get closer to the green, if you turn and look at the green or look at the bunkers, it will show the distance to the bunker or the distance to the green in the display. So a 3-DOF line of sight type example. So that's a great example of that functionality, but again, that doesn't need to be there in your field of view the whole time. It's only when you're looking in that direction. And so these are the options that developers will have. This is one of the reasons why we give our battery life timing, if you like, in full brightness display on time, because we recognize that for most people, they won't need or want the brightness to be at full the whole time. But also, they won't want or need the display to be showing anything all the time. There'll be information that will slide in and slide out, and that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, sort of a long, complex answer there, but I hope that gets to the answer you're looking for. Lenses. Are the lenses proprietary, or can we use any brand of lens? Right now, the lenses are proprietary. There's nothing about the lens itself that is non-standard, other than there's a coating, particular kind of coating. In the case of the display glasses, so the AI glasses. In the case of the AI Pro glasses with the eye tracking, there's several coatings. But apart from that, the lenses themselves are perfectly standard. So I do see a point in the future where there are other lens providers making lenses for the glasses, and more choice and more color options and more tints and gradients and metallic finishes and all those sort of things will be possible. But at launch anyway, we have a lens partner. We'll be providing the lenses through that partner, and so that won't be the case at launch. But stay tuned. We're working aggressively on bringing other people into the fold. We obviously think that projection displays is the future for smart glasses. and folks that share our vision in the lens side are looking to support that as well. Speakers. Okay, I've read reports saying there's only one speaker on one side of the glasses. Can you confirm if there will be speakers on both sides of the glasses? No, there will be one speaker on the right side of the glasses. And this is for a similar reason to, similar but different reason to our AI camera and sensor discussion. We've made the decision to, again, optimize for weight, optimize for battery life, and that means not optimizing for high fidelity stereophonic audio in the glasses. Certainly there are glasses that have that functionality. Certainly in a future design, we may do something differently. But in these glasses, the speaker is really optimized for providing audio feedback on things like AI queries, spoken word feedback, and that sort of thing. It's not optimized for listening to music and so on. You can if you want to. It's perfectly fine. But anyone that really wants to listen to music at that level of quality, they're better off using their AirPods or something of that nature. Now, I know there's been a lot of discussion on that. I welcome the discussion. We've had a great conversation about it on the Discord. I know there's some folks that disagree with that point of view, and that's completely fine. But that's the reason we've made that decision. We also made the decision to optimize for time, to optimize for, again, battery life and for weight. So it's a function of all of those factors. But that's the answer to your question. One speaker, right ear. Okay, let's take one or two more and then we'll wrap it up. Why don't we? Okay, this is a good last question. Full disclosure. Okay, can you do a final rundown of the items that will be different from the original Kickstarter specs? A fresh level set. The specs are the specs. We absolutely are standing behind those. The only change we made was on the resolution and field of view by saying to folks we're going to stick with the current optical engine that we have in Maverick Sport rather than trying to achieve an upgrade, which is what we were trying to achieve. We absolutely were. We've obviously, for all the reasons I mentioned, unable to do that in the time frame that is reasonable and in a way that we can commit to. One thing I should have mentioned, and this is really important actually, people have assumed that there is an enormous cost difference in the displays, and so that by sticking with the current display that we have, all of a sudden we've overcharged people in the Kickstarter. It really isn't the case. Number one, you'd be very surprised that the cost differences between these are very, very nominal. At that size and at that sort of specification, the difference is fairly marginal. Where the difference comes into effect is when you have larger and larger volumes. But at the volumes that we're building, at least these initial units in, it's a nominal difference. So there's not a whole lot of savings there from going from the projected display to the one that we're going with. In any event, you should know that that's not the deciding factor. That's not a factor in the decision. And in any event, the discount on the Kickstarter, starting from up to 40% to the mid-30s, is a very, very substantial discount off the retail price. And so we think that's a very fair thing to offer. But the change in the specs doesn't have a material impact on the cost structure. And so, like I said, our priority is to get this delivered as fast as possible, to get this in your hands. If you are unhappy, send it back. But I think you'll be pleased. I think you'll be really, really, really happy with it. All right, folks. We've done a lot of questions there. This has been nearly an hour. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us. Please come to the Discord. Please get involved in the conversation there. I mentioned the Discord because, of course, the Kickstarter comments, obviously, while the campaign's live, that's one thing, but I think a lot of the conversation will move to the Discord as we get into the delivery phase and so forth. So thank you very, very much. We are delighted to be working on this project with you. We are thrilled for your support, and we are deeply grateful for it. So thank you very much. We look forward to further questions and discussion in the Discord. Have a great day, and thank you again. Bye-bye.